Well, it is time to take two. Call us in the morning. Our twin docs, Dr. I, Dr. J, they are waking up with us, answering your health questions. Good morning, friends. Great to have you here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Our favorite true and false game. Here we go. So, Dr. J, we're going to kick things off with you. Our first question, can you extend your life by adding 6 teaspoons of olive oil to your diet? I've heard really great things about olive oil. I don't know if it's life extending. I'll say yes just because of all the positive news on it. What do you say?
It's false, but it's rooted in a great deal of truth. And so there was this study that came out, and I really loved the study because what the study found was consuming olive oil, if you do 6 tablespoons a day, can extend your life. However, there was a caveat. And what they found was, we know that olive oil has all of these unsaturated fats that are very good for promoting blood flow to the heart, to the lungs, function as antioxidants, prolong cell life. But what they found was consuming the olive oil wasn't enough. You had to consume the olive oil. Your body then had to store it in fat cells. You then had to exercise, which liberated the olive oil, put it in an activated form that promoted what's called the sirtuin pathway and promoted what's called autophagy, where basically your body can recognize old cells and remove them, or heal old cells and make them basically young again. So olive oil can promote a longer life if you exercise, which really serves to highlight the fact that it's important that you have good diet and exercise. So 6 tablespoons of olive oil and exercise.
Right. You know, it seems like you really just can't cut corners with all that. It always comes down to diet and exercise, I feel. All right, Dr. I, true or false? Early menopause actually comes with a great deal of health benefits. Now, I've heard really rough things about this phase. I'm going to say yes just to put a positive spin on this.
Oh, I love your positivity, but that is an absolute no. So
Yeah.
the average age for menopause is about 52, right? But people can go through menopause as early as 35. That's kind of a pathologic condition. But if you go through menopause earlier than the age 45, it's not abnormal, but it is early. The problem is when you go through menopause, you lose the protective benefits of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. So you have more risk of heart disease, more risk of dementia, more risk of bone disease, more risk of cancer. No good things happen with menopause. Now, when you go through menopause early, you have an even higher risk of these things because you lose that protective hormonal benefit even earlier. And there was a study that shows that estrogen is really, really protective when it comes to brain health, dementia, Alzheimer's, things like that. However, there is hope. So you can do like hormone balancing, hormone supplementation helps with the symptoms of menopause, but it also helps with the health benefits, or I should say the health risks of menopause. But unfortunately, early menopause is not beneficial at all.
All right. Well, if I hear anyone else complaining about, some of the symptoms that come along with it, I'm going to keep that little factoid to myself. True or false, Dr. J, drinking a daily plant-based protein shake can increase your risk of heart attack and stroke? We've had 2 no's, really batting 1,000 here, so I'm going to say yes.
There you go. It's
right.
true. So, people are surprised to hear this. So we know protein is super healthy. Protein is the building block of life. Every important structure, every vital function based around protein in the body. However, people think that plant-based proteins are better because they're plant-based. The problem with plant-based proteins, and I use one daily myself, so this was a little startling, but plant-based proteins come from plants come from the soil is rich in lead. And when you concentrate the proteins in these protein powders, you're also concentrating the lead. So there's excessive lead exposure when you're consuming plant-based proteins. Lead exposure can damage blood vessels going to the heart and the brain, can increase your risk of heart attack and stroke. So it turns out plant-based proteins may, in fact, increase your risk of heart attack and stroke, which was very sad for me to find out.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I appreciate you sharing it with us. It's great to get the information out there. All right, Dr. I saw some shaking of the head before we went to break with this one. True or false? Using an alarm clock to wake up is harmful to your health. Now, I would imagine if you're upsetting your sleep cycles, that's different. But the alarm clock use, I'll say no.
So this one is actually true. This one is actually true. I was tricky with the head shake.
You were tricky.
So this is the thing. When you wake up, just normally, no matter how you wake up, your blood pressure goes up, your heart rate goes up a little bit. That's just physiologic. That is normal. The question is, how do you wake up? So when you wake up with an alarm clock that, startles you awake and you're kind of like, oh my God, what's going on? Your body's fight or flight kicks in. Your body's like, what's going on? Are we under attack? And so the increase in your heart rate, the increase in your blood pressure is much more substantial. And when this happens day after day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, the buildup in your blood blood pressure builds, but heart rate can actually lead to long-term concerns like heart attack, stroke, things like that. So do what I do. I actually have a little smartwatch that just gently vibrates me awake, or get one of those little lights. Like there's an alarm clock that's a light that kind of slowly gets lighter, 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 and it kind of gently wakes you up. But these blaring, like startling alarm clocks, they're going to kill you. Bad for your health.
Well, sometimes I need the hammer to come down. This is not welcome news for the entire crew here, but you know what? Points well taken. Thank you both. It is always great to see you guys.
You.
And to have your medical or health questions answered on our show, you can find Dr. I and Dr. J on social media at the Twin Doctors _ or their website.